guys, ASAP. Welcome to another game review, and today we'll be reviewing Deathsdoor, a little indie game I've been playing for a little bit. I beat the kind of like main story to it, but there's also a true ending I still have to get through, which is going to take a little while to do. But hey, if you see the gameplay of the game and you enjoy it, it's a really cool indie game, so definitely check it out. Here are my thoughts, my review on it, and let's get straight into it. This game really will have you on the edge of your seat, from the difficulty to the bosses to the variety of different type of gameplay styles you can come up with, and basically the look of the game, the feel of the game. That's what I really enjoyed the most. And the story was actually very interesting, as you playing as this little reaper that has to reap these like three main soul, and also like these three main soul that you have to like collect them to and to unlock the Deathsdoor and everything. I'm getting to more in the story in a second, but this is like the main thing I wanted to focus on, about the combat being like a little bit fast paced and the story not being too long, but it can be long if you guys like die so many times and stuff like that. But let's get to like the story main place. So like as I say, you play with these reapers. You play with one reaper. You check out these reapers are in charge of taking the souls, and the orders come from this guy named the Lord of Doors. The Lord of Doors are basically keeping the balance between the living and the dead a little bit, and they've been in charge for centuries now, except for this one in particular. It's like the main villain of the game. He basically cheated death in a way that to make him fully immortal. By cheating death is more of taking out like the main reaper, like the Grim Reaper of everything, taking him out of the equation so you don't have to deal with him at all. Having the little crows believe, okay, well, somebody still has to keep the balance until everything, so let's hire these crows, let's make this community form, let's give them jobs to reap the souls of the living and dead and keep them under control. In the beginning of the game, you discover this crow that couldn't get back to the commission. When I talk about the commission, it's like the hub world too, and also the crows like base of operations. As they reap souls for their assignment, they come back to the mission, heal up, and basically repeat the cycle. Although some crows at a certain point into the game, there's like a little flashback thing where the crows get stuck into their mission and they can't return back to the mission, so they end up dying old age or getting killed off by some other way. This crow that you meet, who he basically steals the first boss soul off of, he takes it, wants to open his Deathsdoor, like the main thing, because he believes his soul that was assigned to him got trapped inside. He wants to get it out so he can join back the commission, basically gain back his life, because he just been sitting on Earth now, wherever like the planet this is like based on. He just been sitting there for long years, trying to get back, trying to do something in order to make his life more meaningful again. And as you hear a story and he tells you that in order to unlock the Deathsdoor, he needs even more powerful soul, that's when the whole thing goes around like collect these three bosses' souls to unlock this Deathsdoor, and the journey takes off from there. And the three bosses are very different from each other. You have the Urn Witch, who had a sad story of wanting to make her family immortal. You have Betty, which is like an ice yeti type thing, but she lost herself to trying to protect the village, I believe, or like, she drove herself mad. I forget the story of her really. And then you had like the Frog King, who everyone looked down on. Once he was able to take power, he just made everybody's life miserable. He took everything away. The variety of them was actually pretty cool. I mean, you know, you had the main boss, Lord of Doors, but I'm not at that point yet. I don't want to spoil too much to it. But basically, the story of is you beat these three bosses. After you beat the first boss into the game, go open Deathsdoor, and then the story leads on from there. When it comes to gameplay into the game, you have a variety of weapons that you can do. Movement options are very limited though, because you can only like dodge and attack, heavy attack. And then you have like your magic skills or like your other abilities, which there are 4 of them you can get throughout the playthrough of the story. You get the first one as like a bow and arrow. Not so fast, but really good damage if you like level up and everything. You have the fire magic, where you can throw fireballs, and this actually helps you navigate passages that need like a lit candle or something. The third one, you get like this boss, not boss bomb, but you get a bomb basically that breaks down like the walls that are cracked and it can lead to secret passages. And then the fourth ability you get is actually like a chain hook that hooks you to different locations, and then where they can anchor. You basically hook yourself into like these anchors or anything that can like move you around the stage in a certain way. Some items you can't even get without having that. With gameplay, since the gameplay is very fast, you deal with a lot of waves of enemies. Some enemies are like the same ones you face, but since there are more of them and they're different mixtures of, like some of them can do long range attacks, some of them do strong like close range attacks. So you can get past them if you're doing like 1v1 them or something. But like how the game has the waves and everything, you basically fight them in different pairs and leads you to some different types of gameplay moves you have to do too. Like, okay, I gotta take out the long range guys first. I can hit their blast back at them if I time it right and stuff like that. I really like doing stuff like that. But sometimes it just seems like very overwhelming when you have somebody that has like takes a lot of hits to take them down and a little reaper and stuff like that. So it can be a little challenging to be honest, because you can also have a very short supply of hits you can take. In the beginning you can only take 4. You can add on to this by collecting these green shards that lets you basically have another hit slot, and also you can have red shards to increase your duration of like the magic you can throw at enemies. You have to actually find these, and I will say this goes in terms of gameplay. It's kind of hard to find stuff without the guides. This game doesn't have a map system. It really ticks me off when I'm thinking about it. It doesn't have a map system, so you're constantly trying to backtrack by not knowing which way to go. And in some cases, the souls that you have to collect are different locations on the map to unlock certain doors. And if you backtrack to the same thing, you're basically just wasting time. This is one of the games I would say I had to look up an actual guide to complete. I haven't actually had to do that in like a long time. But this one in particular, you're gonna have to. You're definitely going to have to look up a guide to this, how-tos or like walkthroughs and stuff, because I'm like lost. Even when it comes to boss battles, because boss battles is gonna be hard too, and you're dealing with what's the pattern. They all have like a pattern in the beginning and end, but getting hit by one move is like it's just frustrating, you know. But once you beat them and everything, it's very rewarding, very rewarding. So to basically top off the gameplay section, what I'm talking about. You basically don't have a map, so you basically have to backtrack a lot. You have the abilities of different types of the four like magics that I mentioned earlier. Was the fire, bow, bomb, and the chain, the iron chain that you get. And then for the weapons, you have a total of I think like 6. It's either 6 or 5, I believe. That they all are kind of different, except for the beginning sword and like the great sword just have like a more of a distance you can hit them at. My overall thoughts into the game of Deathsdoor was really good actually. I played the game like crazy trying to beat it. I lost a couple times. I can say a couple times. I lost a lot of times with certain bosses. It was frustrating, so I put it down every now and then. Once I got to the end of like the main section and beat the lower doors, I really enjoyed it. This is an indie game that I had my eyes on for a while because of basically the aesthetic and the visual look into the game really caught my eye. I didn't know too much about the story when I first picked it up, and still it can get kind of confusing and everything, but since I beat the game, I kind of understand more. I think people are going to enjoy this. If you like indie games and wanted to give this game a try, Deathsdoor is the name of it, and I would like to be reviewing more games this year on top of this one, so be looking out for that on the channel and more content in general. Check out my streams sometime on Twitch and just have a fun time. Want to have a fun time this year with this YouTube channel and my Twitch channel and everything. And I think that's about it for my Deathsdoor review. It's a very good but challenging game. I would say that. It's a very good, challenging game. Visual style was very decent and I enjoyed it. Without further ado, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video. AC out.